Today, we're cutting right through all the marketing noise to run a complete system teardown on Meta's surprise drop of their new AI coding agent Muse Code. We're going to look strictly at the cold, hard facts, the raw numbers, and the core architecture to figure out exactly where this new tool actually fits into our rapidly evolving AI landscape.
Here's our system boot sequence for today. We'll be looking at the surprise launch, analyzing the benchmarks, digging into how Muse Code actually works, breaking down the price war, and finally, deciding if you should make the switch.
All right, let's initialize with Section 1, the surprise launch, and Meta's high-stakes beta drop.
So, on August 5th, 2026, Mark Zuckerberg jumped on X to announce the beta release of Muse Code. But you know the timing here? That's what's truly fascinating. This tool launched alongside Muse Spark 1.2, literally right after Meta took a hit with a stock dip following some weak revenue forecasts. So while this macOS and Linux-compatible tool is, for sure, an exciting new asset for us developers, it serves a massive dual purpose. It's a highly visible, absolutely critical signal to investors that Meta's huge financial investments in AI are actually shipping real, functional products. It installs with just a single command, but man, the stakes behind that command are incredibly high.
Moving right along to Section 2, analyzing the benchmarks. Time for a raw data reality check.
Now, Meta made some absolutely massive promises out of the gate, so let's parse the actual data to establish the current market hierarchy. Just a heads up, these numbers come directly from Meta's own self-reported charts. There's no independent third-party audit just yet, so we kind of have to treat these as a starting point. On Terminal Bench 2.1, Claude Code, running on the Opus 5 model, clearly maintains the crown at 86.7%. Meta's Muse Code lands in a respectable but, definitive second place at 82.9%, managing to just edge out Codex, which is sitting at 81.8%. So right out of the gate, we're seeing strong performance, but it's definitely not the overall market leader in raw capability.
But let's look at the next metric and see how this builds. When we look at the Agent Kata coding benchmark, DeepSuite 1.1, the gap actually widens. This is a much tougher test of autonomous multi-step engineering capabilities, and here, Muse Code falls to 59.3%. That actually puts it in third place, trailing behind both Claude Opus 5 at 65% and Codex at 64.8%. To really put this into stark perspective, we can look at Meta's own internal home turf test. Even on the benchmark designed inside their own walls, Muse Code scores 70.6%, while Claude Opus 5 hits 79.4%. That means Muse Code trails by a massive 8.8 points on a test Meta themselves built. Basically, if you're purely chasing the highest IQ in the room, Muse Code just isn't it yet.
But wait, here is the dramatic pendulum swing, and it's absolutely crucial for understanding this tool's true value. Where Muse Code loses on short bursts of raw intelligence, it literally dominates in endurance. Meta reports that their agent actually improves over massive 1,000-plus tool call runs. So while Claude Opus 5 pulls ahead on those shorter, really intense bursts of problem-solving, Muse Code, it's built for marathon sessions.
Which brings us to Section 3, how Muse Code works. Let's look at the architecture of a tireless junior dev.
So you might be wondering, how exactly is it pulling off these marathon coding sessions without completely collapsing? Well, it brilliantly illustrates their secret sauce, parallel worktrees. Muse Code doesn't just work as a single thread. It utilizes background helper agents that stay active and remember earlier decisions throughout the entire session. For massive tasks, it splits the workload, running multiple agents simultaneously in their own isolated Git worktrees. In fact, during Zuckerberg's launch demo, they showed Muse Code building 6 different game features at the exact same time, with 0 code conflicts. Pretty wild, right?
Furthermore, they've engineered a highly robust safety net. Every single model call, tool use, and file edit is written to a local event log first. Guys, this is a real game changer. If your session drops, or say your terminal crashes during a massive autonomous run, the agent resumes exactly where it stopped. There's absolutely no restarting from scratch and burning through thousands of wasted tokens.
And this highly resilient infrastructure was totally proven during stress testing. Meta claims Muse Code successfully optimized GPU kernels over a continuous 24-hour period on NVIDIA Hopper GPUs. We're talking over 1,000 tool calls, entirely autonomous, without stopping once. It really proves that this system acts like a tireless, uncomplaining junior developer. All right, let's dive into Section 4, the price war, and how they're disrupting AI economics. If Meta is conceding the raw capability crown to Claude, they are absolutely going for the throat on operating costs. According to Alexander Wang, they're aggressively competing on price. Muse Code is currently priced at $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output tokens. Now, compare that to Claude's incoming standard pricing of $3 in and $15 out, which kicks in September 1st, 2026. This makes Muse Code roughly 40% cheaper on input and a staggering 58% cheaper on output. Keep in mind, tools like Claude Code and Codex are often bundled into $20 monthly subscription plans, so this per-token pricing battle really matters once you're a heavy user exceeding those limits.
But oh, they didn't stop there. Meta has also weaponized what they call a contributor tier. This tier is exactly 10 times cheaper than their already low standard tier. But, and this is a big but, it forces a massive trade-off. You are handing Meta permission to use your code and your data for their future model training. So if you're working on anything sensitive, proprietary, or private, you absolutely must skip this tier. However, for enterprise clients with strict security needs, Meta is accepting 0 data retention requests on the standard tier, so that's good to know.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5. Should you switch? Let's get to the final verdict and some actionable advice.
So, with the intelligence gap clear and the aggressive pricing war officially underway, what's the actual, tangible takeaway for your daily developer workflow? Well, the straightforward answer right now is that Muse Code isn't a straight replacement for Claude Code, at least not yet. It's still in beta, so you should definitely expect some rough edges. But it is purpose-built for very specific users. It's for cost-conscious coders who constantly exceed standard subscription limits. It's for those of us who want long, autonomous runs on massive, messy projects where having a tireless junior agent is enough to get the heavy lifting done. If you've never touched a terminal before, yeah, this might not be your starting point.
Now, if you are ready to actually install it, here are the pro tips you need to take away from this explainer. First off, start small. Do not hand it your biggest enterprise repository on day one. Second, definitely use its built-in planning features. Force it to generate a structural plan before it writes a single line of code. Third, absolutely double-check your data privacy tier before hitting run for sure. And finally, test it side by side with your current tools like Claude or Codex just to see where it really excels in your specific codebase.
And that wraps up our explainer on Meta's Muse Code. It's cheap, it's fast, and its crash recovery is literally industry-leading, even if it hasn't completely taken the intelligence crown just yet. So evaluate your own workflow, look at the scale of your projects, and ask yourself, when it comes to integrating AI agents into your daily life, are you optimizing for absolute brilliance or relentless endurance? Thanks for learning with us, and keep exploring.